How did you guys even come up with trying
Yeah.
to do that?
So we came up with it by asking ourselves. We said, okay, we want to build a real estate media business. What's the question that most people ask when it comes to real estate? And the answer that
There you
most
go.
people the answer that most people think is, well, what's for sale? And we're like, well, what's for sale is interesting, but you know what? There are plenty of sites out there that show what's for sale. The real thing that people find interesting is what's your house worth.
Yeah.
And
How's the
at the
market? How much
time,
is your house worth? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And at the time, the sites that tried to answer that question of what's your house worth were lead gen, kind of crappy lead gen sites that would say, "Hey, come to our website to find out what your house is worth," and you'd have to enter your email address and your address, and then you'd get a pop up screen that would say, like, "Okay, we'll an agent will be in touch with you,"
Yes.
and we're like, "Well, that's not great.
Click.
That's not what the consumer
Clickbait.
wanted."
Yeah.
When they said, "Yeah, tell me what my house is worth," and so we kind of turned that on its head and said, "Hey, let's just tell you what your house is worth up front, and then hopefully that'll attract a large enough audience that we can monetize in other ways." Um, and people don't remember this, Danny, but for the first 2 years, Zillow had no listings. All we had was Zestimates and bed bath square footage, property,
Oh, wow.
tax
Very nice.
assessment, prior sale history, basically county record data plus a Zestimate for the first 2 years.
I
And
don't even
Zillow
remember.
got up to be the third most visited real estate site with over 10 million visitors before we added a single listing to the website.
Incredible.
So just
Yeah.
just on that product of home valuations is what really got Zillow its
Was
start.
it
And
was
then
it immediate, Spencer? Did you guys feel
yeah,
like an immediate market reacted, like people are coming?
it was immediate. We had
Yeah.
over 1 million visitors on our
Wow.
very first day.
I mean, that's
And
unheard of.
I think
Yeah.
even fast forward over the next 15, or I guess how long has it been, 17 years, I don't think any service has had 1 million visitors on day one. Not
Yeah.
Instagram,
Unheard of.
not TikTok, not even ChatGPT. People have been
Right.
remarking on how quickly ChatGPT's usage has grown, and it has grown incredibly quickly, but it didn't get to 1 million uniques on its first day.
Yeah.
Um,
That's just
and of
off
course,
the
that's
chain.
because of the virality and the voyeurism inherent in the Zillow product of being able to see, well,
Yeah.
what's my house worth? What's my neighbor's house worth? What's my ex-girlfriend's house worth? What's my
Yeah.
boss's house worth? Right. I
struck
mean,
struck a nerve of what people are really interested in, whether they say it or they're not. Everyone's
yeah.
looking, even if they're not buying or selling.
So exactly. So it was pretty quick, and also, give you a sense of just how bad the product was early on. When we launched in 2006, we had estimates on 40 million homes, which is about 40% of the country, and the median error rate at the time was about 14%,
Okay,
meaning that when a home sold, the estimate on
could have
average would
been
be off
off.
by about 14%, high or
Okay,
low. Fast forward to today, instead of 40 million homes, Zillow now has 100 million estimates. So
which
basically
is
every
almost
home in the
everything.
country.
Yeah.
And instead of a 14% error rate, estimates have a 3% error rate.
Holy
So
cow.
much, much more accurate. Now, there are still obviously inaccuracies, especially at the super high end,
Yeah, of course.
or the super low end, where there are fewer comps and where computer models don't, it's like, it's, well, what is a 15,000 square foot house worth in Brentwood? It's like, well, it's kind of worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. That might be 20 million, it might be 30 million, it might be 50 million. Like, it's very, very
Yeah.
hard for a computer model or a real estate agent
Yeah.
to know until you test the market and sell the house. Um,
Sure. You
so
figured that out personally. There was
I
when you
have, yeah.
purchased
Unfortunately
and
for me,
sold.
every time I've bought or sold a house, no matter how hard I've tried to keep my name out of the public record,